Now, to 3D print an optimized part, you need the commercial version of Solid Edge. And if you simply want to create an STL file, you can go out here to the application button, save as, and the form comes up to save, and instead of a part file, you just go down to STL. And that's the standard file that 3D printers have worked on for decades. Go to my options. The only thing I ever mess with here is the conversion tolerance. If this tolerance is too high, up here, instead of having something circular, you'll see it's faceted. So if you see a circle and it looks more like a hexagon, it's because of the conversion tolerance. And I usually like to work with 10,000ths. And so I'll hit save. Now the new way to 3D print this part is to go up here to the applications button, and there's an option here, 3D print. So I'll click on 3D print and this form comes up. And the first thing I like to do is if I just look at preview. Well, I don't want to print that. That's the part before I optimized it. So what I'm going to do is go back here with the arrow, and this is the part I want to print, but what's showing up is the actual design body. So the way I get around this is I go to part copy here on the left, right mouse click and say detach from study. Detach that from the study, and then I'll just delete this out. And I'll save this out as a different file name, and I'll delete this whole thing. So there's no generative study. Then I'll go back here and expand under design body, right mouse click on the design body and say delete. And I'll just hit OK on this. And then if I go back to my part copy, I'll see under here also solid mesh body. And that's what I need to 3D print. And so now if I go to the application button, 3D print, preview, it says, this document does not contain any solid body. So let's go back and have another look. And now what you need to do is go up to this mesh body, right mouse click, and say toggle from construction to solid. And watch the color change from purple to blue. Now it's in actual 3D solid. And then if I go back here to 3D print, preview, we'll see the correct part appears. And that's what I want to 3D print. And then I'll just go to the export button. And let's export this as a 3MF file. I'll hit save. And now if I close out of here and go and look at that STL file, and in my class files, I see the STL file, and I could just double click on that and it'll bring up the same viewer, the 3D builder, and I can spin this around and look at it. But I actually like to look at this in another viewer, and there's lots of other viewers you can download and use. And if I right mouse click on my 3MF file and go open with View 3D, you can see the actual part I'm going to 3D print. And this is a nice print preview. Anytime I want, I can spin this around and look at it in more detail. If I'd like it just to rotate on its own, I can come back down here to the turntable and just hold and hesitate, and it'll spin it around there too.